Hello and welcome to today's content of preparing for the Glacial raid that starts this Wednesday. I'll be going over the resistances and recommending units to bring for ease of clearing, and just talking about the weaknesses of the raid boss so you can better clear it pretty much. The raid item that you can get from this is going to be the Brigadine or Brigadine. I'm not sure exactly how to say it. Maybe if someone could say it in the comments, I'll probably get it right eventually. But yeah, with the shield typing of it, you can get up to 610 HP and 20 defense. At a +5 awakened, you can get AoE resistance 10% if it's maxed, which is very nice to have. It is a heavy armor type, so you have to keep in mind that cloth users cannot actually use it. It's very strong because of the AoE resistance in general, and keep in mind that since this raid is not collaboration, that means there will be a rare raid included. Before we begin though, I do have to say sorry for being a little late on this. I usually do it at release because I try to predict when they're coming out so people have more time to prepare for it, but I was expecting Holy Flan raid because of the Santa Claus, but it looks like they just took out the Santa Claus from the Holy Flan raid and from this raid when it was supposed to be like a secondary item there, but announcements say that it's not really included, so I guess we'll just have to go with this for now. But yeah, sorry about that. Without further ado, let's begin. Here we are for the resistances for Glacial. Basically, Slash is at -15%, Strike and Pierce is going to be 10%, Missile 15%, and Magic at 25%. As you can see, Slash is going to be very strong here. It's going to be -15% to Fire Element, however, it is a +15% to Wind. That means you do not really want to bring Wind units here. Everything else for, elements are going to be 0%. It starts off at 0 defense, it has 20 spirit. This means magic users in general or magic attacks in general will be slightly weaker. Its faith is 80 however, so it does increase taking magic damage in general. So what you want to bring however is going to be Slash, Fire, and Fire Slash pretty much. It will literally kill this boss very quickly. What you want to bring also, if maybe you don't have like the top tier units, is going to be Steal Time, Imperils, and Avian/Bird Killer. Because the raid boss is a bird, it does count as a bird killer. I mean like a bird, avian, basically. It's also immune to agility breaks and slow and stop. There's a difference between steal time and annul to slow and stop, so keep that in mind. Basically, slow, stop, haste, quicken will not work on the boss itself. However, you should be able to still steal time it. I'm like 99% sure. So the damage you will take, however, is going to be Stop for status ailment, Strike, physical damage, and then magic damage pretty much. And it's all mostly spamming AoE damage, so keep that in mind. It's not going to be just for one unit, it'll be spamming AoE. So units to bring for Glacial Raid. King Mont is going to be the #1 recommended solo carry DPS unit, and I do believe if he is 120 or close to it, he can probably solo this raid, because not only does he have AoE resistance, he also has stop resistance of 50%, meaning he won't be stopped from here specifically. He also has Slash Imperil, and he's Fire Slashing. He should be able to definitely take on this raid alone, probably. For good and decent DPS units, we're going to have Tidus here, because Tidus in general is a very strong slasher unit. Rob has Vortex Render, which is very good AoE. Dwayne and Runestern are here mostly because they still have the high raw damage. Runestern does have Hazard Crusher for the defense down, and Dwayne does have his Rising Twilight for the Dark Imperil, so it's going to be very nice. Luartha is here mostly because of her typing. She will have to use her Soldier Subjob, and she is a bit squishy, so I can't say she's in the recommended list, but she still does very high damage. Winter Mashra is kind of like a slightly weaker version of Luartha, however she has better options in terms of survivability and has a Viking subjob, so it will help her in that department. There's only 2 units in the good and decent DPS units list that I've shown here that have stop resistance, which is going to be Dwayne and Luartha. Everyone else either has 0% or 10%, meaning they still can be stopped. You should put a ribbon on them if possible. For attack Imperil setup units, Raldor is going to be the #1 best Imperil setup unit here because not only of his typing, but he also has, I believe, 50% stop resistance, so he won't be stopped. He's also fire type, so he'll be very good. Ninus here has his spear shot, linear spear shot, which is very good and effective. He also has slash options if needed, but yeah, he's basically capable of doing it. Gilgamesh and Winter Ramada are also very strong slashers. They also have their Imperils. I believe Gilgamesh also has stop resistance, so he's a good choice. Ramada unfortunately does not have good survivability. She still hits like a truck, especially because there's 0 defense on this boss, so yeah, it's something to consider. For the equipment, as you can see, it's literally going to be bells for almost everyone on TMR slot, but if you don't have it, you should really try to farm it as fast as possible because it helps a lot immensely. And the recommended defensive item, as you can see how big it is, ribbon. If you have ribbon from the past trial event, you're in luck. If you're not, I hope you have someone that has stop resistance, because stop resistance, as much as it might seem like it's a small percentage chance of happening, it has a chance of happening. And as long as it's there, the game will find a way to screw you over. For the offensive vision card setup, Ifrit's going to be very effective for physical attackers in general, but also for the bestow that gives fire attack up, so it's very good for fire units in general. Lamaya Queen is very good because it gives you fire attack up to your party, as well as ice killer for yourself, so this is very nice to have. For the celebrating crossed paths, it's going to be good for if you don't have any other attack vision cards, because you get at least 15 attack up from all elements. It's going to be nice to have in general. For defensive setups, we have King Mon's card, which is going to be good mostly for the damage cap if you need that, but most importantly, the AoE resistance for the holder. Mostly the AoE resistance for the holder is good because the boss spams AoE attacks, and you get the HP for the party as well. Keep in mind, these are all benefits only for fire units on King Mon's card. For Death Machine has AoE resistance, which is very nice to have in terms of survivability. It does not have any real offensive setups, however, like benefits from it. And the Mobius of Hope and Illusion vision card. Not many people will have this, but it's actually a really good vision card because for your team, you get ice resistance, but if you're mono fire, you also get ice killer, which is going to be very nice to have. So if you have any of these vision cards as defensive setups, you can use them, but I would highly recommend using the offensive setups for this boss to just kill it as fast as possible. Especially if you do not have stop resistance, I would just say kill it as fast as possible. Utility is always going to be the same. I can't really say too much about them. Agility is always very nice. Acquired AP is good, and Two-Headed Dragon is going to be good just for speedrunners, basically. If you have like 4 UR Mons, I mean like King Mons maybe, and one of you guys can run Two-Headed Dragon, and you guys could just chain hit like immense damage, pretty much. Let's take a look at the resistances for the rare raid, which is going to be the mini dragon this time around. For the resistances, it's going to be negative 20% to pierce, negative 10 to slash. For magic, strike, and missile, it's going to be 15% however. So as you can see, pierce attackers are going to be very strong here. For lightning element, it's going to be negative 10%. To fire, it's going to be 20%. So don't bring fire units here. Please, don't. For all other elements, it's going to be 0%, so that's all fine. It has a base of 10 defense, 0 spirit. 10 defense is not a lot, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Faith is only 80. I say only 80, but this is actually kind of important because 0 spirit and 80 faith means it will take a lot of damage from magic in general. However, it does have a magic attack resistance at 15%, so I would say maybe magical slashers that are lightning element, which probably don't exist right now, but yeah, it's something to think about for the faith and spirit values. So what you want to bring, however, is going to be lightning units, lightning pierce, and lightning slash. You can also bring a slow, such as like Kane's LB, Dragoon Dive, I believe. It's going to be very good because you can slow the boss. What you want to bring also is going to be spirit and defense debuffs because it's not high and there's not much to penetrate through. Lowering those are going to increase your damage by a good amount. He's also a dragon, as is in his name, mini dragon. So dragon killer like ability boards from espers or vision cards or items in general will help you here. Damages and statuses you'll take is going to be magic, water strike, and silence. Keep these in mind because it has a mixture of both physical and magical hits. It is immune to agility breaks and steal time, so try not to bring those when you're trying to fight the boss. Just focus on DPSing it pretty much. So for units to bring for the rare raid, the recommended solo DPS unit is gonna be 9S. He will literally shred this boss to bits because he also has an additional pierce resistance down on the boss. So you might as well just bring damage cap increasing vision cards with him. For good and decent DPS units, we're gonna have Tidus as usual because he's a very strong slasher. We're gonna have Sid or Orlando, a familiar face we have not seen for a while, but he always makes his way around for some reason in raids. Divine Ruination as well as Crush Armor is going to be very effective against this boss, and he has the element typing, so he'll be very effective here. The Dark Duo, Knight of Ruin Stern and Dwayne are going to be very strong here in general because they're good slashers. 2B not only has pierce attacks here, but she also has strong slash moves, so she will be effective. And Glacial is mostly going to be because she has a good pierce move. basically. She has good pierce attacks, and she's not a bad typing against the boss. For attack and peril setup units, it's going to be obviously Winter Ramada and Gilgamesh here. They're both slashers that hit very hard, and they have slash and peril. And the boss is already weak to slash, so they'll do very, very effective here. Kane also makes a return here, kind of like Orlando, where his limit break is also going to be very useful against the boss because it can slow. He also has the further pierce resistance in peril, so he'll be actually very strong here as well. So the equipment, what you want to bring. Soul of Thasma is going to be important if you want to bring mages into this. I specifically did not put mages here because I feel like it's going to be a lot more effort for people to use. If you do bring a water unit, if you bring the Tide Ring to give yourself a water resistance, it's going to be very effective against mitigating damage from the boss. Smart Robe is also here just in case you're getting pummeled by like the multiple magic attack moves that it's going to be spamming at long range. For offensive vision card setup, we're going to have Vow of Love, which is going to be very good to have because it's attack percent up for your party, and it's going to be slash attack up for yourself, but it does give you hate, so be wary of that. That means you will be focused target for a bit from taking hits. The second vision card is going to be Swordsman's Refinement, which gives you slash attack up for your party, but specifically for O, who I did not mention in good slash decent DPS units, mostly because they are MRs and not as many people build MRs compared to URs, just in general. O would be actually very, very good DPS here, especially with his own vision card. He will hit like very, very hard, like way harder than some of the other units available. And lastly, because we want to maximize our pierce attack damage, maybe if you're using pierce units, it's going to be Dashing Through the Snow. Dashing Through the Snow is going to have the 35 pierce attack up. It's going to be very strong. For the defensive setup, we're going to have Fenrir with the magic attack resistance up because the dragons can use it. And we have Odin for single target attacks because the dragon spams mostly only single target attacks, so Odin would be very useful there. For utility, it's always going to be the same. The agility vision cards are always good. The attack slash AP acquired up is going to be nice. And two-headed dragon, which I will say might be MVP here for utility because 9S will be literally crushing this boss to like bits, or should I say piercing through this boss very, very quickly. And we arrived to the end of the video. As always, if you liked my red preparation guide, please leave a like and subscribe. Sorry guys that I released it a little bit late. I literally got up and I was like, oh shoot, I gotta do this real quick. And I guess this is what I did. But yeah, I was really hoping for the Holy Flame raid, not only because we're missing the Santa Claus, but I can see why they delayed it, like Gumi delayed it, because we don't have like a counter unit for 2B specifically and Tifa, unlike what Japan servers does right now. So I guess they're just delaying it a little bit. What doesn't make sense is why we're still delayed on the winter units for their EXs. But yeah, maybe when the time comes, we'll be getting the Holy Flame raid with their EXs. Anyways, until the next video, have fun raiding and peace out.